Hello and welcome. Today we are finally taking a full look at the Nerf Pro Gelfire Warp Speed. This blaster is claiming 150 FPS and 20 rounds per second. Let's jump right in. Now included in the box, we of course have the Nerf Pro Gelfire Warp Speed itself. On the blaster, we do have the rechargeable battery, which just slides forward and right off. It's a pretty solid piece and it's really cool to see a rechargeable battery. We get the USB-C charging cable for the battery. We get 20,000 of the Nerf Pro Gelfire rounds. You do get 4 packs of 5,000. I have already hydrated the other 3 packs. We get eye protection, which is always very important. And we get the instructions. So going over the Nerf Pro Gelfire Warp Speed, starting off, as I did mention earlier, we do get a rechargeable battery. I just removed the battery by pulling this red thing down, sliding it forward, and sliding it down. Pretty easy. And to charge the battery, we have a USB-C port right here. Plug it into some power and it'll glow green while it's charging. It'll blink if there's a charging issue and the light will shut off when the battery is fully charged. Now right here we do have the safety. Pushing from the left side, the blaster is safe, and pushing from the right, we are ready to fire. On the blaster, we do have one rival slash hyper slash Nerf Pro style tactical rail. On the very top of the blaster, we do have some very wide iron sights, which might not be the most necessary for a blaster that fires this fast. The build quality of this blaster is relatively solid. However, there are a couple spots where it is flexy, as we saw with things like the Pronto and many modern Nerf blasters from this year. There are just a few spots that are a bit flexy, but overall it's not too bad at all, especially compared to the Pronto. Ergonomically, this blaster is not perfect, but overall pretty solid. The main grip is plenty big and the trigger is in a nice place and quite smooth. The grip is a little bit blocky in some areas, but like I said, I don't think it's a huge deal. As far as the built-in stock, it's a pretty solid length, and shouldering the blaster is a pretty good experience. On the top of the blaster, we do have the hopper. The hopper holds a whopping 2,000 rounds, and the door is right towards the back. To open the door, we are just going to slide it forward. Loading rounds into the hopper is pretty easy. As the door is pretty large, it gives you plenty of room. To make room for more rounds, it's easy to tip the blaster forward. Once you are all filled up, the hopper door can be closed and it clicks into place pretty nice. And while the additional rounds certainly give the blaster more weight, the balance is not too bad at all, and now we have quite a bit of ammo. Now that we're loaded, let's just fire a couple shots. This thing is ridiculous. That is an insane rate of fire. Let's go ahead and put this thing over the chronograph. It is going to be impossible to single shot this, but the blaster is claiming 150 feet per second. 145, 111, 183, 138, 178, 158, 161, 140, 133, 181, and 121. So when it comes to FPS, the warp speed is kind of all over the place, but with that rate of fire, I really don't think it's a big deal. Now let's fire some shots at the rival Jupiter target, which is sitting about 25 to 30 feet away. It is also slightly uphill, so it'll be interesting to see how the hopper feeds, seeing as the rounds get dropped down right here. Absolutely crazy. The majority of those shots hit, and we still have plenty of ammo. Also, no misfeeding. I'm gonna shoot the target from pretty up close so you can really see the impact. This thing is crazy. Now let's fire some shots downrange. The ranges are pretty okay, about 100 to maybe 110 feet, but the rate of fire is simply phenomenal. By far the best I've seen with any gel blaster. And I didn't address this earlier, but part of why it's able to do this is because the blaster has 2 plunger tubes and 2 barrels. So this blaster, in a way, is kind of like the Rhino fire, where while one is firing, the next one is getting ready to fire. So they end up firing very close after each other, creating this absolutely monstrous rate of fire. I'm also going to say, I really like seeing the clear components on this blaster. We can actually see the plunger tubes in action. So what are my final thoughts on the Nerf Pro Gelfire Warp Speed? Overall, while the Warp Speed does have some of the downsides of modern Nerf, as in the ergonomics could be a little bit more refined, and there are areas where the plastic is slightly squishy, the Warp Speed still manages to be a top tier blaster. It is easily the most fun I've had with any gel blaster. The sheer amount of capacity and fire rate make up for the average velocity. I would say this thing is well worth it for the price, but I will say this thing is pretty darn hard to get in many states right now, and I'm sure many countries outside of the US as well. I was able to get this blaster from a third party, but was not able to purchase it from any conventional retail store. So you might have a hard time getting this blaster when it is more properly distributed. I will put the link down in the description, but for now that might not be available. I have heard some people tell me that this thing has been spotted in Ross for under $30 in some places. For that price, holy cow, I mean, buy 2 of them. The Warp Speed is a phenomenal blaster. Nerf, you did a great job. The Warp Speed gets a full thumbs up from me. Thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the Nerf Pro Gelfire Warp Speed, whether you just watched this video or have one yourself. Subscribe for more, have a good one, and happy blasting.